Now in this 7th chapter, we're taking a look at pivoting exercises. We've seen this first stretch drill so many times over the course of this DVD, but once again, this is the way to start pivoting, by stretching and opening the hips. So players are encouraged to get on the boards here, put that one foot in, put the other foot in, and put their knees together, thrusting their hips forward and their shoulders back. It's the open hip stretch. Players can hold this for 20-30 seconds. They can squat up and down. Should always get those hips open and then do our open hip pivot drills. So our first exercise in this 6th chapter on pivoting is to jump 180 degrees. Jump all the way backwards and all the way forwards. Exercise will look like this. Now we're going to make this open hip pivot from forward to backwards on one foot with a slight hop. Would look like this. Now we're going to do this open hip pivot faster with more pivots forward to backwards. Looks like this. The easiest way for a player to work on this spread eagle open hip position is to do it while going around in circle. Here we're jumping from forward to backwards. Looks like this. Now we're going to take a look at a little spread eagle chase game. So two players are spread out opposite each other around in circle, and you're going around in a circle in the spread eagle position trying to catch the other person, and they're trying to get away from you or catch you. Our next technique then is to make a spread eagle half circle down the ice. Hold that spread eagle position. It will look like this. Now we're going to combine the open hip forward to backwards pivot with the spread eagle. And we're going to count this spread eagle in 3 steps. It's going to look like this. We're going forwards, backwards, forwards, half circle, forward, backward, forward. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Our next exercise is to do a spread eagle down the ice in a straight line. Here's Dimitri to show us what it looks like. So our next exercise here is to make this pivot from forward to backwards We've been told over and over in hockey for 20, 30 years that this is a Mohawk turn. It's not a Mohawk turn. Actually, many people don't even know where the term comes from. The term comes from figure skating, and it comes like this. It's when the early pioneers had come to America. They took some Indian captives back to England. They were doing a dance for the English, and they were in the spread eagle position. And the English said, "Oh, hey, that's very similar to how we skate on the ice." And since they were Mohawk Indians, they decided, let's call that the Mohawk move, the Mohawk turn. And forever, we've been told we're doing a Mohawk turn. It's about time that we quit using these figure skating terms and start calling it what it is. It's a hockey turn from forward to backwards, open hip pivot. So we're making this open hip pivot. It's a 3-count turn. We're going forwards 1, backwards 2, backwards 3. 1, 2, 3. And as fast as we can. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, a way to train this open hip pivot from forward to backwards is to make this open hip pivot as fast as you can in a straight line. And it would look like this. Now, a good way to train this forward to backward pivot in a 3-step count is to do it while going around in the circle, but not while slow. Most of the players that can do this can make a pivot. We want to see them make it as fast as they can. So it would look something like this. It's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the other way as well too. 1, 2, 3. Our next exercise is a plyometric for this pivot. It's a forward to backwards jump turn and would look like this. Our last type of backward starts has to be from a moving position. The last ones were from a backwards stop and go. Now we're going to do backwards moving starts. There's 2 types, a crossover and an open hip, and it will look like this. And our second type of moving backward start then is with an open hip start, no crossover. Looks like this. We're going to take a look now at a lateral crossover for a defenseman. Generally, when a defenseman's going backwards down the ice here, a defenseman does not want to cross over out here to get the opponent. If he crosses over, he commits himself and he leaves open space to the middle. So what we're looking for is that if a defenseman can funnel the opponent down the ice, so he's skating backwards and he's moving into him, and he funnels him into a position where his stick is across from the player's skate. So there is no room for him to cut back because we would take the puck away. When the player is in this type of position, he can use this backwards crossover step to push and drive that shoulder into the chest. And it would look like this, a little faster. Our next exercise is to make continuous pivots around the corners of the rink when we skate around the full ice. We're doing this in a 4-step count, and it's going to look like this. Players are going to come in and they're going to skate 1, 2, crossover, 4. 1, 2, crossover, 4. You want to count it like that, and we want to see them do it with speed. They're pivoting, turning with their outside facing the boards. Looks like this. Now we're going to make pivots turning facing the inside of the ice. Players are skating in here full speed. They're going to go 1, 2, 3 facing the middle. Reach big crossovers all the way to the top of the circle. Open the hip and go forward full speed. And the same thing at the other end. It's a full lap around the rink. Looks like this. This next exercise is a fantastic way to work on pivoting. We're going to be going forward to backwards, always facing the direction we're coming from. We're going forwards to the side at an angle with 1, 2 pushes. We're going to go backwards, crossover, forwards to the side at an angle. 1, 2, still facing that way, backwards, crossover, pivot, forwards, 1, 2, backwards, crossover, pivot, forwards, 1, 2, backwards, crossover, pivot, 1, 2, backwards, crossover, pivot, 1, 2, backward, crossover, pivot, 1, 2, backward, crossover, pivot. We're going to take this exercise one step further. We're going to do it with only 1 push to the side, and we're going to get faster and faster. So we're going forwards at an angle, backwards, crossover, 1 push, forwards at an angle, backwards, crossover, always facing this way, backwards, crossover, foot, backwards, crossover, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's another very difficult pivot drill. On 1 foot, we're going to pivot from backwards to forwards. It looks like this. To make this exercise even harder now, we're going backwards on 1 foot. We're going to turn from backwards to forwards one way, forward to backwards, backwards to forwards the other way. We're going forward, backward, backward, forward. Whoa. Here's another exercise in our single leg pivot drills. Just keep in mind that ice hockey players never turn on 1 foot forward to backwards. And this is another figure skating drill. Not for us, but good for agility and coordination. It would look like this.